Hello and welcome to Comment Below, a podcast where we talk about the news and the topics of the week, but more importantly, what has been commented below. We delve into the mess that is our social media, finding the stories you may or may not be talking about. Isn't that right?
What?
Ben, you can't talk until I said your name.
Well, that doesn't work if people are listening to this podcast, your joke.
Well,
you have to verbally...
Don't tell them. There's a joke at the end of the last podcast.
Right.
And if they listen to the whole thing, is it a joke or is it just me being a bit snidey?
Don't know.
But anyway, if you say your name before you do this thing...
Okay, but what did you just do? To explain to the listeners what you did, verbally, what you just did.
Oh, I stared at you until you said something.
And then you...
Punched you in the arm.
Right. That's correct, Alex. We do that on Comment Below.
Straight onto script.
It's been a very busy month in December. If people haven't been noticing or listening or watching, we are doing a mini podcast every single day of December.
I'm sorry. Right. I'm going there.
Okay.
I'm going there right now. I'm going to punch everyone in the arm right now. If you've not been listening to our mini podcast where we have put minutes of time into every single one of them. However, Ben has put hours of time into editing them, and they are pretty good. The videos of them, if you're watching us on YouTube, have been spectacular.
Right.
And they have been.
Don't
They've been very
oversell
good.
it.
I'm not overselling it. They've been very good. And I've watched a couple of them. I don't actually like watching or listening to myself, so I normally just let you post it and then I just pretend it never happened. Because 9 times out of 10 I look back and I go, God, you're a bit of a dickhead, aren't you? And I really, and I'm sure a lot of people out there right now are commenting below, or getting in touch with us on X at Comment Below Pod, Instagram at Comment Below _pod, or emailing us commentbelowpod@gmail.com, eager to tell everyone how much of a dickhead I am. And I, at least I admit it. I know I am. I can be a bit marmitey. I can sometimes give an opinion, talk over people,
Right.
point.
Yes.
I point a lot.
But
Punch people in the arm.
yeah, where's this going? Go finish the anecdote.
I forgot. Do you know I've completely lost track of what I'm talking about now?
But people should watch
But
it.
people should watch
what you were saying? I don't know.
our Christmas podcast, because we've done some really fun ones as well. Like, I quite enjoyed the mince pie one when I ate 6 different mince pies blindfolded.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun. We made a Hallmark movie, which we acted out, which was pretty smart.
Yeah, written by AI.
We talked about our favourite shows. We talked about Mr. Christmas, the man who is
Allegedly.
Christmas personified. Yeah,
And we've got more to come.
And there's still another week's worth of this, because as this is getting released, we're 8 days away from Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a week tomorrow when Christmas, the big day, the big red man comes down your chimney and tickles your tree with presents.
But our previous owners of this house blocked our chimney, so what's he going to do this year?
With them, have you not seen Santa Claus the movie?
No.
Again, this is
We
how
talked about this already on the podcast.
he doesn't go down a chimney. He uses magic dust. He goes bring, and then appears in the living room. Santa Claus the movie is like one of those weird films that it's weird. Like it's about a little girl who's like really rich in a really rich house, and she like has anything she wants, like everything she wants. And then there's this, but she helps this boy who's like a bit of an orphan, lives on the streets, and leaves him like the scraps of dinner outside. And you're meant to think, wow, what a great girl she is. Instead of like saying, hey dad, can we not maybe buy an orphanage, or put some money into a charity to help kids who are homeless on the street. And it took him befriending Father Christmas before she then started giving a damn about helping him out.
Well, if that didn't happen, there wouldn't be a movie. So
That's true, but Father Christmas gets backstabbed by one of his elves, played by Dudley Moore, because Dudley Moore steals lots of magic
you
dust.
say Dudley Moore, like I should know who that is.
Dudley Moore, you should know who Dudley Moore is, because he's a very...
Is he fit?
No.
Okay, I won't bother looking.
He's a comedian from the 70s. He had a radio show which was really, really, really popular. Here he is, and he played an elf in Santa Claus the movie.
I'll look at him young.
Okay, I don't think he looks any different. He looks the same.
Oh, yeah, he does. That's a weird thing about people from the old, 60s, 70s. Even when they were young, they looked old.
And even when they were when they were 30 years old, they looked 60 or 70.
It's the hair theory, which we have talked about before.
There is a thing about that, isn't there? I remember I saw an article. Maybe that's something we could have brought up for comment below this week.
Hair theory? I think we've already done it. Or I did, but you didn't believe me.
Younger people look older in the old days.
Because of hair theory. Because people put modern haircuts on the Golden Girls, for example, and they look the same age as Jennifer Lopez. but it's the hair. It's the hairstyle that makes them look old.
Okay.
Because they're not that old.
Because
the
their
Golden
skin
Girls.
looks more...
No, it's not. It's hair theory. Look it up.
Also, I'm drinking, if anyone's watching the video, from a Easter mug, just because I'm in the kind of Jesus-y mood right now. I'm past his birth, now I'm into his death.
Look, Julia Roberts, they put Golden Girl's hair on Julia Roberts.
Okay, I'm having a look.
She looks like a Golden Girl. She looks old, like her.
No, she doesn't. I
But
disagree.
then look.
Right. The bottom left one looks like if Jessie Wallace and Sonia had a child.
Sonia Jackson.
Yeah.
But hair theory is a thing with Golden
Just
Girls.
save that picture now so people can see it if they're watching us on
Oh,
YouTube.
I'll lose it, but okay, whatever.
I'm
So
gonna lose
anyway,
it.
before we go on to our main subject this week, there was just one little thing. TikTok keeps annoying me. It's changing. You know, people selling things all the time. But I was scrolling it this morning in the early hours, and I found like a new... What's it called? Like a new section of TikTok. I got turned into some weird place, and it was this whole thing, which is like there's lots of them, lots of accounts of girlfriends who post on TikTok about their boyfriends who've gone to jail, and they're always crying on TikTok. And it was like it was this countdown. She was in. She was like 1 year, 3 months, and it was like all tears. And then it was like 1 year until I see him, and I was just like, what? It was really annoying me, and I don't know why. And like as it was getting closer to his release date, it was like, oh, he came to have his 4-day visits, and then he had to go home. They're the hardest ones. And then Becky, spelt with an I at the end, was like, they're the hardest, love, when they have to go home. And I was like, what is this going on here? And he's getting released soon after being in prison for 1 year and 3 months. He killed someone. And I was just like, what is happening here? And people were like, what did he do? She was like, he just broke the law.
He just broke the law.
And then I looked him up, and he killed someone. And I was like, right.
Just broke the law.
But it's just a very odd section of TikTok that I came across.
Was it he like intended to murder this person, or was it manslaughter? Was it that he
was drinking over the limit, going 80 miles per hour, and hit a Polish man and killed him?
Oh, it's only a Polishman. What's it matter? I'm joking.
That's what
I'm
Becky
not
with
being
3 eyes
serious.
said.
I'm not being serious when I say that. I was actually joking, thinking that's the kind of thing
sure.
everybody's saying.
It's the last episode of Comment Below.
I enjoyed my time. See, I'm a dickhead. No, no.
Yeah, I know. That's something like the comments by Becky with 3 eyes, for example, would say something like
He's
that.
only Polish, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, so this is a whole thing. But there's loads of them on there. There's girls on there who were writing in letters to get to fall in love with convicts.
That's not a new thing.
No.
There was a character, Catherine Tate did it, remember? She married someone on death row. It's a made-up character, but she did a pen letter to prison. That's not new at all. That's actually quite an old thing.
But this is
do.
a new form to see it in.
Well, they send them a TikTok.
Form.
Well, they probably send them like sexy videos. They probably smuggle a phone through. Well, come on. These men, they've got needs, they've got urges.
Right.
They have.
Of course. That's why they get their home visits.
Which is why I think...
She bought a new build as well, and he came over on move-in day. It was really I didn't.
He's probably
quite
on tag, isn't
that.
he? If he's good behaviour in prison.
Oh, he went shopping in the shopping mall and
lucky
came over
him.
for. I know I was getting
What a
really.
lovely
That's why I was
time.
getting confused as I was watching it. It's just really odd, but
He probably got some pocket money to buy her something from H.M. Samuel.
It's just a very strange place to be on TikTok. That was.
I might send a little pen pal message. Hey, yeah.
Only 1 year, 3 months. Crying,
yeah.
tear.
But you saying
That's
about
what they do.
the crying thing, and that's another thing that really, really annoys me. Break-up talk, let's just call it for argument's sake. When people have broken up from their 1 month
I know,
boyfriend.
why is there always a video and pictures of it?
It's always a woman. It's always a woman. It tends to be a woman, a female, a young girl who's like laying on her bed, and like they get the camera, and then you can see in their face they're just pushing that tear out. They're pushing that tear out, and then they're like, oh my god, it feels wet, and they're looking at the camera, and then they quickly zoom in. They you go woo, like that, and you just see this tear going, and it's always to like.
For balance, I will say I've seen gay men do that too. Just so we're not taking off air twice.
No, yeah.
By you this week.
Xenophobia and sexism.
Sexism, yeah, it's all coming.
I am sorry. I apologise for both my examples there, but yeah, that's something that annoys me a lot. That kind of like it's like why do you have to? If you're upset, fine, I get that. Like, I get it if you're like really, you need to, again, have a release and you need to talk to people or speak about it on like a social media site. I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, why do people use social media to like talk about their feelings? Some people, it's fine to do stuff like that. Obviously, when people check in at the hospital and then they leave nothing, and then they just keep it quiet, and it's a common thing people moan about, but that annoys me. But it's like, don't.
Or they take a picture of their arm with the drip in.
Yeah, it's like don't make it performative. If you're upset, take a photo or a video of the moment and then move on.
You know what they say, everything on social media is fake. So, what are the topics we are talking about on this episode of Comment Below?
I'm surprised we'll have time now, to be honest with you. But I must remind people that if you are watching us on YouTube, don't forget to follow, like and subscribe, ring the bell to never miss an episode, and get in touch by commenting below. And if you're listening to us, don't forget to subscribe. And if you enjoy listening to the show and my random rants this week, then please don't forget to give us 5 stars. And in 5 words or less, say why you enjoy listening to us. It really helps us build the show. Right, so Rishi Sunak. We're not being political.
Gosh,
We're not being political.
No, if you're being political, you do that.
We're not being political. Rishi Sunak considers talking about social media, he's considering curbing social media use for under 16s. Now, this actually is happening already in communist China. So it's kind of mad that it's a Tory that's kind of bringing it up, but it's not kind of mad when you think about it, because
he's just doing anything.
Well, also the Tories like to kind of like feel like they're controlling the nation one fake news at a time. Fake news in the kind of like they're making stuff up, not the Donald Trump way. In a way, I get it. So this is the first time I might agree with a Tory. So he's basically said in an article that was originally posted in I found it in The Guardian, but it was originally posted it was actually reported first by Bloomberg, that sources have told the news website that social media bans for under 16s are under consideration, but the government are playing it down for now. They basically want to kind of put some further action into an act they enacted only a year or so ago.
What the government do? They leak their
Online Safety Act.
They leak their idea to the press before they actually take it to Parliament, just to see what the reaction is from the Daily Mail, GB News, Talk TV, Piers Morgan, and then they go with it from there.
But this is the funny thing, because
this does come across as just desperation because they've run out of ideas, because this is just...
Well, yes, but
ridiculous.
I get it in a way, because it can be very damaging for young people, obviously. But I also think that, a bit like people's opinion on voting for Brexit, where they said that you shouldn't let people over the age of 60 because it's not their future that they're voting for. I think certain people who are over a certain age on Facebook shouldn't be allowed to comment either, because they can be bloody annoying too. I'm joking. God, I really need a tongue-in-cheek fucking warning at the bottom of the screen.
What are you joking about?
Older people shouldn't be banned from social media.
They should be.
Oh, okay, you think they should. But I have to say, I get where they are coming from with this, because it can be very damaging. Now, I've said to you before, and I don't know how the practicality of this again, and this is Alex on his soapbox, starting his own government.
Right.
A bit like my prison plan, this is my 10 plans for getting government. Number 1, give a wank space in prison. Number 2, I don't understand why we don't get given... We all have a national insurance number. That number is individual for us. Why don't we get given an individual number, which is basically our fingerprint on the internet?
Right, Elon Musk.
But do you not think that makes sense? Because then if anything is happening... Because a lot of this is basically down to people being a bit mean online. And if you can directly find the people who are doing it, the trolls and this and the other, surely that's one way of kind of policing it a little bit.
What if multiple people use the same social media account?
That doesn't matter. No, you'd have your own... You basically, when you're signing in... Say
comment
I'm signing
below.
in...
Comment below X account.
Yeah, but
both of us use it.
It will still be under your fingerprint.
But not yours.
Well, it depends which one of us. Or you could maybe give you an option. If you want to have a couple, you have to re-sign in anyway. If you're on Threads or Twitter or Instagram, if you want to go out with your account, go into another one, you just swap the account. Well, seriously, then that would be under one fingerprint.
What about a business account like
Again,
Asda?
under Asda. Okay,
well, they have multiple social media.
The general manager of Asda, the man who, the two brothers who own Asda, can have that as their fingerprint. Or you can
they're
apply,
not the one posting.
Or you can apply. Yes, but they'll be responsible for looking after the site.
It's not fair.
It is fair. Well, to be fair, using your example there, if I was to go onto Alistair on Facebook and I said, I don't like your peas, and then I got a response of, I don't like your face, then I would get in touch with Alistair and that person would get fired. They're policing it anyway.
Right,
so why is it
Karen.
any different? No, I'm just saying it's no different, is it? It's exactly the same thing. But of course, there's, you can maybe apply for a business fingerprint then, for argument's sake. So if you and I want to start
What
a
if you
business...
want to be anonymous
Let
online?
me finish first of all, my example before you start interrupting me. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Well, you asked me a question and give me a second to answer it, sir. Thank you very much.
Answer it then.
Me, I will.
Running
You can
out of
apply
time.
for a fingerprint for your business if you want it. And if you want to remain anonymous, you can't because you have a fingerprint. Why? What I know you're saying for security, but then there's end-to-end encryption on things like WhatsApp and stuff like that.
What about people who are looking to help, such as women in domestic violence
on
situations?
end-to-end encryption, but then you're not going to go to a domestic violence website and say ha ha, and then make a comment about something.
Yeah, but you still might use an account to come to someone.
Of course
to
you can,
ask for
but
help.
you can make
Childline.
Again, certain things could be end-to-end encrypted. WhatsApp is end-to-end encrypted.
Is it?
Signal is end-to-end encrypted. Telegraph or Telegram is end-to-end encrypted.
What? How do you prove your identity to the user? So you're going to send it to Elon Musk?
You have an ID number.
Yeah, but you have to prove it with your ID.
What you're saying, someone like Elon Musk shouldn't be allowed to have this kind of information.
He
has
owns
that
Twitter.
information anyway, so what's it matter?
Well, he doesn't have
Technically,
that.
you already have a fingerprint. You have an IP address.
Then why can't people use that then?
Well, you're quite right.
It
People
doesn't
should
work,
use that.
see?
But then this is what I'm saying. For websites like Facebook or Twitter or X or Instagram
What if you use a VPN?
or anything like that, please stop interrupting so I can answer your question you first asked. Then you have to keep them public. But for something like, I don't know, going on Netflix, where there's no forums, no interaction, then why does that need to be made public? I'm not saying you shouldn't have the security of, say, an email address. I don't think email addresses should be handed out willy-nilly, and information that you sent emails to other people should be handed out either. But there must be something. You're pretty much public already on a social media account.
I know, but it's not practical. If for Twitter is a prime example, it used to be owned by someone else, and Elon Musk has bought it. He could do anything with all of that information. So
I agree with you. But then that's your choice to whether you go on X or Twitter or not.
You'd have to just go on nothing.
Well, a lot of people that decision's open today. If I wanted to, I could cancel all my social media accounts. And if I don't want anyone knowing my information, I've got an encrypted email account and I've got an encrypted messaging account. So no one...
Yeah, but with your theory of having an ID for everything, you would have to have an ID for that email account. It's sent to someone a company you trust now, but in 10 or 5 years it could be sold to a company you don't trust.
Yeah, but the company can encrypt it. Everything is end-to-end encrypted. Yeah, but okay,
also
fine.
the 16-year-old thing as well is really impossible to maintain. Like you can't we have voice editing software on this, so people won't hear.
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad.
People don't hear this stuff around us.
Me every 5 seconds.
But you can't keep checks on under 16-year-olds using it. So that's why it's a pointless idea.
Unless you have an ID, an online ID.
You know, people don't want that. People don't
Big
even want to
Brother's
use.
watching.
People still want to use cash. They don't want to use a bloody ID, do they?
Yeah, again, I agree with that. But those very same people are the ones who are on Facebook putting on there, I do not allow people to use my information on Facebook as a message. You know what I mean? It's like, so to be fair, if they don't want their information shared, don't go on these things. It's like, this is the argument when people are saying, I don't think it's fair that I have to get a Tesco club card because I don't want Tesco knowing my information. But then they're making that argument on TikTok. It's like, TikTok probably know every single minute detail about you right now.
If they knew every detail, there's no need to have a unique ID then.
Well, no, this is, yes, okay, I get where you're coming from, but at the same time, surely then there's a way of them, they can't find out who you actually are. But do you not see where a unique ID would be practical?
No, because there's so many it's like how the government want you to have ID to vote. Look how they've twisted and turned that, where they've allowed more elderly people to do it, but not younger people. To use an Oyster card, for example, elderly people are allowed to use bus pass. You don't know how they would twist it for internet use or access or
well, you think they're going to lean toward elderly people?
Well, they could lean to show specific things like they.
The one thing the government would use it for would be for basically finding out information about you.
Exactly.
So again, it goes down to whether you trust the government or not.
Well, exactly. So why?
So do you not trust the government?
No, I'm just saying there's a lot of points that I've pointed out which are negative towards having an ID.
I get that. But at the same time, an ID for someone under, okay, you could argue then someone under the age of 16 has an ID. But then what you saying then, if they're in danger, they wouldn't be able to quietly... I don't think you're going to get that audio information out. What?
The cat.
But there has to be something they can do if they want to... Because they've already introducing, like I said already, they've already introduced an Online Safety Act. And that Online Safety Act...
Yeah, but that was bloody written up by Nadine Dorries, wasn't it?
No. They've changed it since then. And with that Online Safety Act, it actually puts people already in danger who want to share, who want to like talk confidentially about, problems, domestic violence and this, that and the other. So I do get where you're coming from with that. I have to say. We
just know that the government is going to use horrible things. Like, what if you're coming out as trans and they change all these trans things? You have to have an ID for online. Then they know your ID. It's just all sorts. But and also, if it gets leaked somewhere, like
someone else can then use your ID.
Well, wasn't it a company recently where all the users got leaked? It was, what was it?
Probably X.
No, it wasn't X. It was something else, and like all the information was just
PlayStation. So it happened to Sony. Sony had their online subscription leaked, and loads of emails went out with credit card details.
Right. Well,
so I suppose I've actually muted my own argument. Not only obviously you made some points, but obviously there's probably sophisticated ways now of knowing exactly who people are. I mean, this is the thing. I'm kind of almost countering my own argument because at the same time I do. What?
Balance.
I do appreciate that there should be more privacy actually with what people are doing. I think VPNs shouldn't be banned when some people say they should be banned. And I think end-to-end encryption, especially if you're in like a war zone, say you're in Russia and you're messaging people saying, "Ooh, I don't like what the government are doing right now." If that got found out, then you'd be probably...
Yeah, they'll know who you are.
While with end-to-end encryption on Signal and to a lesser effect WhatsApp, I suppose, yes, it should be like that. It's just
also when you're on end-to-end encryption, you don't have as much reach power. Like in end-to-end is through limited people, isn't it? Whereas on X, you post it on X and it's on everyone, so that's not encrypted.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying with something like the big social media platforms, then like Facebook or X or Instagram, then this theory works fine. The idea of that you're given a fingerprint works fine, but actually, but it does, because you just said yourself, because then that's a public platform that people can listen to you on. But if you wanted to do something quietly and secretly, be it for good or evil, having end-to-end encryption is very, very important too. So that's what I'm saying. It's a very fine balance between the two things.
Okay. Shall we move on, because the whole show's been taken up now?
That's fine.
Oh,
we thought we didn't have anything to talk about, and we got loads.
Right, one more thing then is some drama, Goodreads drama, which we all love. An author, Cait Corrain, has been dropped by her publishing house and her agent because, internet sleuths, they love a bit of sleuthing, don't they?
Did they do it under a VPN?
Well, exactly. Maybe this person needed some ID. Because Cait Corrain was being found out to have been review bombing fellow authors who were releasing a book in a similar time and a similar genre to her in a very weird and sneaky, slightly psychopathic way, let's say. So she was having a fantasy book coming out. She'd had some blurbs sent to her from fellow authors saying, "This is a great book, buy this book when it comes out," her friends. And there was another author who was getting a bit suspicious because she came across a few Goodreads reviews for books which were all getting 1-star reviews. All of these authors were people of colour as well, which is a big point.
Red flag.
And it turns out that they were basically behind the scenes. This person was curating a list of usernames and reviews and linking each username to what they were reviewing 1 star, but also putting Cait Corrain's book as upcoming good an upcoming read. This is an upcoming book. You must check this out. Added to loads of lists, lots of 5-star reviews on hers, lots of 1-star reviews on lots of other people's.
She reviewed bombed like authors in order to make hers look much better in comparison.
Yes. But there were also people that she was friends with,
Who'd
like
also
authors that had written like positive things for her. So it's like a really shady thing.
It was a bit off, isn't it? It's a bit scuzzy.
The woman who was doing it said, I've had this for a while. I've reached out to her personally because I didn't want to make it public who you are, just so to give you the time to sort of admit it and take it down. She, of course, denied it all. So the person released a sort of expose. It was like a 30-page spreadsheet of all the evidence, of all the reviews and all the different accounts that had been linked to the same books and the same negative reviews, positive things about their own book. And she still didn't admit she had done anything wrong. And she then said...
Didn't she point the blame at someone had hacked her account or something?
Well, what she said is, when you're an author, you have like a group of people who you send your book to before it's released to get feedback. She created an account, someone called Lily, who was allegedly one of her inside team of like reading her stuff, and they said that person, as a fan of hers, did it, and she created a fake chat between them both where the fan admitted it. She said, I'm sorry, it was me, I didn't mean to do it. The author, Cait, is it Cait? I'm not even sure if it is Cait.
Someone Corrain, isn't it? Cait,
it is Cait.
Cait
then said, I'm really angry for you doing it. How dare you? You're going to ruin my whole reputation. And then her fan, Lily, who's not real, did a big turn. She turned into a villain, like, Darth Vader at the end of Star Wars.
Like her book, yeah. She
said, no, I'm glad you've been found out. So everyone was like, this is a bit odd. So people were reading it who were in her sort of inner circle who said, I don't remember seeing a user named Lily ever. And also the way that this is written is in the same tone and voice as Cait's own writing. So she made a fake conversation, and then the people who have read her work before noticed that, wait a minute, this is in the style of your own writing. You've written this conversation from yourself.
She
psychopathic.
Yeah, well, it's almost schizophrenic, isn't it? She's like gone a bit nutcase.
Apparently, the book Yellowface is this plot. And
did she write that book?
No.
Oh, okay.
But people were saying like, this is really weird because this is literally the plot of Yellowface.
Oh.
So she did. She did. It's written by the person who wrote Babel, so.
Oh, okay, may not.
But
no
she
offense.
did.
That's on Ben's review, not mine.
No.
For the first time ever, I won't get cancelled.
She did do an apology.
Yes,
now that she's been found out,
apology.
because she got dropped by her agent, she got dropped by like a loot box which was having a code, and she dropped by her publishing.
Loot box?
Her book was going to be put into like those boxes where people get sent random books every month.
So if you like romantic books, you get this with a pack of digestives and a tea bag. Yeah, I see.
But the trouble with her apologies are difficult, aren't they? At the best of times, you don't sit in front of a thing with a ukulele and sing a song. We know that doesn't work. Trisha sits on the floor outside her fridge. That sometimes works. Shane Dawson's doesn't tend to work very well either, very often. But in this apology, she didn't actually apologise. But she kind of said that I've been fighting a long bout of depression, alcoholism, substance abuse. And she's like, everything's a little bit hazy, but there may have been a few people where I did this to. And everyone was like, there's literally over 30 people. And you've missed out the bit where they were all people of colour. And also people were a bit like, well, being an alcoholic or substance abuse doesn't make you racist. So it's a bit weird that this has all happened.
I mean, it heightens your feelings, doesn't it? That's what a lot of people say. You when you've been drinking, you kind of go, like, you almost bring out your true feelings. So I guess that's what she's done, hasn't she? Yeah, it's cheeky, isn't it? It's a bit cheeky. No, maybe she should have done a video like Shane Dawson when she just stood in front of a camera and talked for 45 minutes about how sorry he feels or she feels for themselves. Yeah, it's really weird. The weirdest part of it is that like she's still kind of not really taking responsibility about it.
No, I mean the apology is 2 pages long.
I'm just reading it now.
But it's really not like, it doesn't take account because there's so much evidence, but she only kind of says, well, it was a few. She says like a few.
Well, she does admit it. She says that she bombed other people's books. She deliberately heightened her review so that it looked, the rating looked better. She said she was abusive. She said that the funny thing is that my memories of her. So it's possible that a couple of other authors. If so, please no, I take full ownership of what I did. And then 5 seconds later, she says, like, when people discovered it was me, I panicked. And it's like, so you kind of knew, like, instead of just taking responsibility immediately, you kind of thought, I'll try to double down and backtrack on it. It's such an odd thing to do. I don't understand why people do it. Like, we've had friends who have told us that they've had similar situations themselves. Like, they make something and then someone who maybe does something similar then attacks them unnecessarily, and it doesn't really make sense. It's like, what do you gain from doing that?
Especially with her, because she had a multi-book deal. Her book was already getting good reviews and like hype.
Must be a reason why she was sabotaging herself.
I mean, weird.
Again, it's not an excuse, but you know, if she's genuine with, really, her apology should have just been, look, I've got depression, I'm fighting substance abuse, what I did was fucked up, who I did it toward was fucked up, I'm going to sit back now and just say sorry.
Yeah, what people are picking up on is, like, someone said, so the depression took over your body for months on end and made you tear down black and brown authors. And it's like, that's what people, it's like, it's not like you went after just random authors. They were all people, POC authors, and it's like, okay.
The funny thing is,
what pills make you racist, etc. Comments like that.
Yeah. The funny thing is that obviously she's quite a well-known writer. She's written a few books. She's got the book deal. Blah 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 blah. She's been attacked. She's been put down. She's been, you know, kind of destroyed now, and perhaps her career is not under her actual name isn't going to last long now. Maybe she'll need to write under another pen name. But someone like J.K. Rowling, who's equally been as much of a dickhead. But because she's written Harry Potter, oh no, God, come on, let's be fair here. She did write Harry Potter, which is just a spin-off of The Worst Witch. It's this absolutely like, oh, flip off. Like, why? Yeah, I get what she's done is wrong, but like, there's other authors that have done wrong things too. Maybe we should address what they're doing too, and maybe those people should be held responsible. But again, she, you know, J.K. Rowling hasn't. She's doubled down on it and just become more and more.
She has suffered loss, thank God, since though. Like, people have been boycotting her work more, and her thing's been losing money.
A multi-million-pound video game came out. Another theme park came out. I think I saw like a promotion on the Waterstones website saying, if you like Harry Potter, you'll love this.
And HBO are making a new Harry Potter series.
They're remaking
because a
lot
of the projects were like before she came out of a.
Not the HBO thing.
No, that's what I mean. But the things that the fact that they're continuing, but it's made me laugh. There was another author who posted, like, I know what she did was wrong, but maybe we should worry about things coming out like this because it could take away contracts from people no matter what you say. And people were like,
who's that they're talking about? The author?
They're Cait. They said that about Cait, and people were like, well, why are you doing this? They went along her Twitter line and she had racist tweets from 2013, so now we know why she's had that opinion. That's
a funny thing also. Like, it amazes me, like, people are stupid enough to, like, keep, like, tweets from their Twitter account. You know what I mean? It's like, it's so weird. Like, it's just another example why people should be given a internet fingerprint. Well, they'll become accountable for the rest of their lives.
We have people sleuthing anyway, so we don't need it because it all got found out.
But so, it's so
interesting story.
It's just so awful when people just like
self-sabotage.
It's like, and I've said this before, but Graham Linehan is like was such a fantastic writer. Like, he wrote one of my favourite shows in the whole wide world, Father Ted. But I can't. Without a good conscience, I cannot watch Father Ted anymore because I know he's an absolute arsehole.
You almost want all. If you're in the arts, just don't be on Twitter because I don't need to know your personal opinion because it ruins everything.
It's like
all the time.
Like so many celebrities from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, like they were arseholes. Let's be honest.
But you didn't know
about it, so you kind of just got on with it.
Scylla.
No, you're being mean now. Poor Grady likes Scylla Black.
Scylla was slagged off non-stop on the forum of like air hostesses. Have you not seen?
Oh no, I have seen that. She's meant to be an awful passenger on a plane. Yeah, that's true. That's fair.
She got out on time there, Scylla, before social media was a thing.
Good on her for dying on time.
There you go. She lived.
Anyway, so this has it ended up being a much longer episode than we thought we were going to end up doing. So that's quite good, isn't it? Lucky us. And I hope everyone appreciated the cat litter. It was almost well timed because our conversation about the internet could be classified as some of the things I was saying was just absolute trash. And Charlie was there scratching his litter box to say, I agree. So,
You may not hear it on the podcast. Who knows? Be a nice surprise to know.
be a nice surprise for everyone. However, if you do enjoy listening to the podcast and you want to get in touch with any stories that you've been listening to recently, then please go to X @commentbelowpod, Instagram @commentbelow_pod, and email commentbelowpod@gmail.com. I don't mention this very often, but if you actually like listening to the show and you want to give us a little bit of help, i.e. monetary way, then you can go to Buy Me
Christmas
a Coffee.
bonus.
buymeacoffee.com/faithful. If you go to BAM Productions on YouTube or search Comment Below Podcast, or indeed our other podcast, Faithful to the Traitors podcast, you can find us there. And if you are watching us on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell, put a thumbs up, and comment below, because you can literally do that. And if you're listening to us, then don't forget to also subscribe on there as well, and give us 5 stars if you enjoy listening to the podcast, and in 5 words or less explain why you enjoy listening
Why
to
5
the
words
show.
or less?
I don't know, I quite
'Cause
like
it's 5
it.
star. A word for each star.
1 for each star. Although
You
that's-
are shit. 3 stars. Right, as we do every week,
Ben
we're
is
gonna.
rude, 3 stars.
Ben is really great. 4 stars.
Fuck Ben, 2 stars.
Yes, please. Right, so as we do every week,
do you wanna
we
shag
end.
yourself?
No, the person leaving the review.
Oh, would you
Who
think they're
knows?
going to be hot?
Yeah.
If anyone wants to get in touch and screw Ben, then do you get in touch?
2-star review, please.
2-star review Ben. No, don't give us 2 stars if you want to screw Ben, because they might like the show.
That's
You're
true.
putting ideas
Right,
into
so as we
people's
do
heads.
every week, we end on a Facebook mum quote of the week, where she sat on her crushed velvet sofa and crushed velvet wallpaper and crushed velvet rug all around her with a glass of wine. She's posted a quote.
Boucle.
Boucle pillow or something. She's posted a quote on Twitter. No, not Twitter. On Facebook, because it's Facebook mum.
It's the Facebook mum
Yeah,
quote
so
of the week.
are you ready?
Yes.
This is very poignant for this time of year. If there's anything this year has taught me, it's that life changes with no warning, no matter how prepared you seem to be.
Oh, never a truer word spoken.
And there you go. And we will see you next week for another full episode of Comment Below. But of course, all through December, we're doing a mini podcast every single day. So make sure you tune in for that tomorrow. We've got more fun.
We've got some doozies coming next week. The
Yes.
excitement. All the excitement.
Lovely. So we will see you all very soon. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.